Good evening to all. In this video, we talk about tense. What is the tense? How it is useful? What are the different types of tenses? When can we use each tense? These are all being spoken by me in this video. First, we define tense. What is the tense? Tense is the time of action. Tense is the time of action. Here, tense talks about when particular action happened. This is what is being spoken by tense. Tense is divided into three types. First one, present tense. Next one, past tense. Third one, future tense. Here, each tense again divided into four types. Simple present, present continuous tense, present perfect continuous tense. All these are part of present tense. Simple past, past continuous tense, past perfect continuous tense. These are all four tenses, part of past tense. Simple future, future continuous tense, perfect continuous tense. All these are part of future tense. First, we see simple present. Here, simple present talks about present actions. Simple present talks about present actions. Here, we can know different uses of simple present. First one, it expresses general truths and scientific facts. Simple present talks about general truths and scientific facts. Example, the sun rises in the east. It is the general truth. Oil floats on the water. It is scientific fact. Here, what is the truth? Truth and fact, they both are the same only. No one can change truth. Fact is universal. Fact and truth, they both are universal. Opinion varies from person to person. Opinion varies from person to person. But we can't change fact from person to person. Fact is universal. It is applicable to all. It is same to all. The sun rises in the east. It is general truth. Oil floats on the water. It is scientific fact. The moon revolves around the earth. It is also general truth. The sun sets in the west. It is also. Hydrogen is the first element in the periodic table. It is also. Rome is the capital of the Italy. It is also truth. We see a number of examples in the next page. Water freezes at 0 degrees centigrade. The earth revolves around the sun. Her mother is Peruvian. Yes, it is the truth. Next condition, under simple present, it is useful to talk about habitual and repeated actions. Habitual actions means what are habitual actions? What are habitual actions? The actions which are related to our habits. Actions which are related to our habits. The actions we do in our day-to-day lives. The actions which we do in our day-to-day lives. Those are called habitual actions. Here every evening Samuel plays football. It is his daily activity. Daily and repeated activity it is. So here it is a habitual one. Every evening Samuel plays football. My dad wakes up by 6 a.m. daily. It is also habitual. It is also habit. Waking up at early morning is one habitual activity, one habit. Emmanuel washes his father's car each Sunday. It is also repeated action and habitual action. She goes to church every Sunday. It is also habitual action. Monkeys eat bananas all the time. It is also repeated one. This is one. My wife plays shuttle every Sunday. This is habitual one. I take bath twice every day. It is also habit. Every day I go to work by bus. It is also. Here I provided number of examples for habitual and repeated actions. Kindly go through all these examples. Next, third condition under simple present, it is used to tell about future timetables. Here we use a simple present to talks about future. Here we use simple present to talk about future actions. What are those? Our train leaves at 9 a.m. The lesson ends at 7 p.m. The film begins at 8 p.m. See, with the subordinate conjunctions also we use this future tense. See, once I won't go out until it stops. I won't go out until it stops. Here in the previous one, we are using simple present tense to talk about future actions. And also, what is the another use of simple present? Simple present always talks about present actions. Here, in this condition, when we use with the subordinate conjunctions, it talks about future also. It talks about future also. I won't go out until it stops raining. Now it is raining. Now it is raining. Until it stops, I won't go out. So it is a condition. If I study hard, I will pass examination. Here, mainly, simple present is used to talk about condition. Result is being spoken by future tense. Here, mainly in the subordinate class, we use a simple present tense. In the main class, we use simple future. All of you need to remember these things. In the subordinate class, we use simple present. In the main class, we use a simple future. Please try to remind these things. One is condition, one is result. Subordinate class talks about reason always. Which talks about result? Main class always talks about result. It is, and also simple present is used to talk about permanent actions. What are those permanent actions? Suppose he works in a bank, he lives in Hyderabad, next his native place is something Hyderabad. See, simple present tense is used to talk about permanent actions also. Next, there is another use from simple present tense. It is used for newspaper headlines. See, most of the times we read newspapers in our lives. Every day we read newspaper. Whenever you see headlines in English newspaper, you can observe these kind of titles. Most of the times, headlines of newspaper are mentioned in simple present tense. See, man enters space. Even though it is a past or it was past, it is mentioned in the newspaper with simple present tense only. India wins the World Cup. It might have won the match yesterday. Today they give India wins the match World Cup. They give only in simple present tense. It is used with non-progressive actions. What are non-progressive actions? Mental process, emotional states, possession, sense perception. This kind of non-progressive means which are not progressive, non-continuous. I believe that you are innocent. I prefer tea to coffee. I hope everything will be all right. Here, non-state. These are all verbs. These are all verbs. Non-continuous verbs. We do not use believing. We do not use preferring. We do not use hoping. We simply use infinitives only. We use them as infinitives. We can't use them in progressive tense. So, what it is talking here? Here, non-progressive. We use these verbs in non-progressive actions. Yes, it is simple present tense is used to talk about stories also. It is used to tell stories also. Suddenly the window is opened, the masked man is entered. Here see, then all two lines. See the story. Maybe the few lines of the story. But when you observe these few lines, you can observe simple present tense in these lines. Next, he walks through the door and slams it shut the behind him. Here also, story a few lines of the story are given in simple present tense. So finally, what we can conclude that here simple present tense is used to tell stories also. Next, it is also useful to give directions, instructions. First of all, you break the eggs, add a little sugar to it, practice English. Here, see, giving directions and giving directions and instructions, they begin with verb directly. Here, they come under imperatives. Here, we use imperatives to give directions and instructions. What is the another condition? We use a simple present tense also. Along with imperatives, we use a simple present tense to give directions and instructions. Be careful. See, here sentence has begun with the verb directly. Sometimes no. What are imperatives? Imperatives talk about commands, requests, orders, and next many other things. It spokes. Next, here close the door when you come in. Come home as soon as possible. See, all these instructions have begun with verb. So here, so they become orders, requests, directions, uh, giving directions, giving instructions. Come here, sit down, eat your vegetables, turn left and go straight on. It is giving directions. All these are instructions. Giving directions and giving instructions and directions, they both use simple present tense. Next, to talk about scientific facts. What are scientific facts? The sun rises in the east. Helium is the second element in the periodic table. Delhi is the capital of India. All these are scientific facts. Scientific facts indicating habitual and repeated actions. We discussed a few minutes ago about habitual and repeated actions. Here once again it is repeated. Every day my wife goes to work by bus. It is also habitual action. The university publishes its magazine every month. It is also repeated or habitual action. Mahalakshmi attends the class regularly. It is also habitual action. Take right from the junction to reach the hotel. What is here? It is giving instructions. It is giving instructions. Close the door when you go out. Go home as soon as possible. These are all giving directions. So to talk about determined timings, that means future timetables. My brother, my brother's flight arrives around 5 p.m. Here it is talking about future timetables here. Our summer vacation starts on the 19th of this April. See, here we can also talk about determined timings by using simple present tense. Her friend arrives day after tomorrow. See, we are talking future also by using simple present tense. All of you observe the sentences, you can understand clearly. Using with future constraints. She will meet you before you leave. Mahalakshmi will let you know when Madhu arrives. Mahalakshmi will give it to Madhu when he comes to home. Her mother arrives tomorrow. Our holiday starts on all these future constructions. Next subdivision of present tense is the present continuous tense. Continuous tense talks about events that are happening at the current time of the speech. Here, there are two conditions under present continuous tense. Present continuous tense talks about actions which are happening at the time of speech. Present continuous tense talks about actions which are happening at the time of speech. There is another parameter. It also talks about the actions which are happening somewhere else at the same time or in the present moment. Suppose Ramu may be living in Hyderabad. Ramu may be doing his work in Hyderabad. We can say that Ramu is working in Hyderabad. See, it is happening in the present moment only. It is happening in the present moment, but not here, not at the moment of the speech. it is happening somewhere else. Those actions also can be spoken by present continuous tense. We can also speak about future actions. I'm going to home tomorrow. This is also future plan. So we can also talk about future plans by using future continuous tense. Next, we see what are the conditions to use present continuous tense. First, to talk about action happening at the exact moment of the speech. Suppose there may be actions which can be spoken by present continuous tense at the exact moment of the speech. See here, Mahalakshmi is watching television at the moment. See, I'm here. I'm here only. Mahalakshmi and I, we both are wife and husband. We both stay at one place. We both stay at one place. She is watching movie. She is watching television. What I say at the time, while I'm speaking, she is watching TV while I'm speaking. So I say to you, at the exact moment of the speech, what is happening? That is what discussed by, that is what being spoken by present continuous tense here. Mahalakshmi is watching TV at the exact moment of the speech. While I am speaking, she is watching television. So here Mahalakshmi is watching television at that moment, at the moment. Students are listening lecture at this moment. Here also, while I am speaking, they are listening. So I can say that the students are listening lecture at this moment. Next, second criteria to use present continuous tense is it is used to talk about an action that is happening now, but not at the exact moment of the speech. I told you earlier, Madhu is walking in London. Madhu is walking in London. The action is happening somewhere else in the present moment only, but not at the exact moment of the speech. They are living in the Mumbai. They are living in the Mumbai. These are all actions which are not happening at the exact moment of the speech. Not happening at the exact moment of the speech. Those also can be said. Those can be said in the present continuous tense by using tense. Next, to talk about planned event in the future. Sometimes we plan events in the future while talking with our peers, our colleagues. We can use present continuous tense to say our future events. So I am taking my Spanish class on Saturday. I'm going to my village next week. You can use this present continuous tense to talk about your planned future events. Next, there is another criteria also. It is used to talk about temporary situations. Suppose there may be the person who has come to Hyderabad to stay with his friend for some time. He wants to stay with his friend for some time. No, to say no when we want to describe the situation, when we want to say situation, we can use present continuous tense also. He is staying with his friend for few days. He is living in Hyderabad for some time. So to talk about temporary situations, we can use present continuous tense. Next, to state frequency of an action. Here, how often particular action happen. This is what important. This is what is told by present continuous tense. My friend is always complaining for no good reason. He is rarely attending classes nowadays. Here, see, here frequency. What is it here? What is the word which talks about frequency? Always, rarely, frequently, thoroughly. All these words they come under frequency. Yes, changing situations also. Sometimes we use present continuous tense to talk about changing situations. Her behavior is changing day by day. His health is improving by day. So here, to change no, when we want to speak about changing situations, we can use present continuous tense also. Next, present perfect we discuss. Action, an action that began in the past and continues into present time. See, a few actions, they begin in the past tense and then continued. They are continued into present time also. Example, we'll see examples here. When we see examples, then you can easily understand. An action that is finished in very recent past. Here, present perfect tense talks about two actions. Two actions. First one is action that began in the past and continued in the present time. See, a few actions they begin in the past, they are finished in the present time. They are finished in the present time. This is what is being discussed by present perfect tense. There are a few other conditions. We also look at them to get better understanding. To express things you have done in your life. Mahalakshmi has been to England. See, it is the action completed in the present tense only. It is the action has been completed in the present moment. So here, to express things you have done in your life, we can talk about these things by using present perfect tense. She has never studied Japanese. Yeah, so next here, next condition, to talk frequency. She has been to Hyderabad for 3 times. Here, frequency, how many times comes under frequency? To talk about frequency also we can use present perfect. Next, I have tried to help her many a times. Many a times here, frequency. To talk about frequency, we use present perfect tense. Next condition, to talk about recently completed actions. We can use present perfect tense to talk about recently completed actions. I have some good news. I have gotten government job. I have some good news. I have gotten government job. I can't happy tonight. I have failed in examination. See, what is the condition here? To talk about recently completed actions. To talk about recently completed actions, we can use these kind of statements. We can use in the combination of simple present. Next, to express situation that started in the past and are still true. See here also few situations that I told you earlier. Past perfect talks about actions which begin in the past and continued in the present. Continued in the present or finished in the present mode. Example, she has known me for 10 years. It has the action has begun the action has begun somewhere else. Suppose 10 years ago. What is the year now? 2023 here. I knew her. I knew her 10 years ago. I knew her 10 years ago. That means in 2013 itself, I knew about her. I knew about her. She also knew about me. She also knew about me. Here, when we want to say in present perfect tense mode, it is the better sentence. We need to use right elements to say sentence in present perfect tense. Has plus V3. Has plus V3 is the right structure to use present perfect. She has known me for 10 years. That means she uh, she knew me about 10 years ago. That means in 2013 itself. In 2013 itself, she knew about me. So still it is true. Still it is true. So that to speak about a kind of sentences, we can use present perfect. Next, I have been president of India since 2020. Here it is talking about point of time. Point of time. You have been the president. See, in 2020 you became a president. In 2020 you became a president. Still you are president of India. Still, you are President of India in 2023 also. That is the meaning of I have been the President of India since 2020. Next, to talk about unfinished actions. To talk about, I have known Mahalakshmi for 10 years. I met her 10 years ago and still I know her. Still I know her. This is what meaning of unfinished. I have read half of the novel. I have read half. This is also unfinished actions. Hmm? It is not completed. We can sometimes we can say completed actions by using perfect tense. Sometimes we can't say exactly when it is finished. This is, present perfect tense is used to talk about finished actions and unfinished actions also. Next, they have worked in Hyderabad since to the here point of time. To express present results also, I have lost my key. Madhu has missed the bus, so he will be late for the class. Madhu has missed the bus. See here to talk about reason. Here to talk about reason, we are using present perfect tense. Result is being mentioned in simple future. The train has been late, so I will go to college by 10 a.m. Here, train has been late. Here to talk about reason, we use present perfect tense. To tell result, we use simple future. Next, present perfect continuous tense. Present perfect continuous tense. Action begins in the past. In the present perfect continuous tense, as I told you earlier, in the present perfect tense also, action begins in the past and continued into present moment. Sometimes it is in, sometimes it is finished, sometimes it is unfinished. In the present perfect tense, in the present perfect continuous tense, action begins in the past occurring until now. See, action begins in the past, it will be finished up to some extent, it will be finished up to some extent, and it is continued into present tense also. It occurs in the present moment also. That is what the meaning of present perfect continuous tense. See, express the long actions that started in the past and continue until now. Few actions they begin in the past. There may be the long actions. They begin, suppose writing epics, writing novels. So but these are long actions. These are long actions. They begin in the past. They start in the past. They are the action finished up to some extent. They begin in the past, action completed for some extent. The remaining action will be in the present tense also. That is what the meaning of present perfect continuous tense here. We see one example. Mahalakshmi has been living in USA for the almost 10 years. Mahalakshmi went to USA in 2013. That is the past action. That is the past action. See, she has lived there up to she has she has lived up to 2022. It is the actions, no, some kind of action has been finished here. The action has been finished up to some extent. What is the next? Still she has been living here. Still she has been living in USA. So how I can put it, those as situations in a words? Here we can use present perfect continuous tense to tell kind of situations accurately. Mahalakshmi has been living in USA for almost 10 years. I have been doing homework all the day and I am absolutely exhausted now. Next condition, express recent actions that have clear evidence or result now. Few actions, this tense is useful to express recent actions also that have clear evidence. We see one example. What are those clear evidences? You have qualified examination. Have you been studying for the lot of time? See, to talk about evidence, see, you have qualified examination is the result. We have qualified this result. To talk about evidence, we can use present perfect continuous tense. Have you been studying for a lot of time? My eyes are red. This is also result here. To talk about reason, to talk about evidence. See why my eyes are red. What is the evidence there? There may be many factors. There may be many factors. See, lack of sleep, because of crying, because of hot. There may be red eyes. But here, to talk about evidence, to talk about perfect evidence, we can use present perfect continuous tense. Here, my eyes are red because I have been crying all the evening. Next, at the same time, to talk about shorter actions and temporary actions. Have they been learning Japanese this week? To know progress. To know progress, we can use present perfect continuous tense. Next, I have been preparing for the examination in this week. This also shorter action. Examination, no. When we have examinations, we prepare. This is a kind of short actions. Preparation before the examination is a short action. Next, the past tense. Simple past. Simple past is useful to express completed action. It is useful to talk about completed actions in the past. I saw ghost last Friday. Here you can see, saw. Here saw is V2 form. See, in the present tense we use V1 form. In the past tense we use V2 form to express past actions. Next, to talk about a series of completed actions. I came to college is one action, completed it within time, and went to home after work. These are three actions here. Here, to talk about a series of completed actions also, we can use simple past to express habits in the past. To talk about past actions, when I was in my undergraduation, I watched movies. It is also one habit. I used to play volleyball when I was 7 years old. Yeah, to tell habitual actions, we can combine number of tenses. Sometimes see in the first statement here, two past tense sentences are mixed here. The second statement here, to here also two past tense sentences are mixed with appropriate conjunctions, appropriate subordinate conjunctions. Next, we use with stative verbs also. He had a small cottage in the verb. What are stative verbs? We have stative verbs, dynamic verbs. Stative verbs means be forms, have forms. All these are stative verbs. Dynamic means which are used for dynamism. Dynamism means suppose run, walk. These are no. Just a past continuous tense. Past continuous tense is used to describe actions that began in the past and often continued for a short period of time after action started. After action started, they would be in continuation. So see, to talk about parallel actions, past continuous tense is useful to talk about parallel actions. Example: when I was eating dishes, my mother called me. They both are they both happened simultaneously at the same time. When I was watching TV, my wife was walking. My wife was watching TV. My wife was watching TV. Here, my wife was cooking a dinner. Something you can understand. Next, interruption to express a specific time. No, there may be few interruptions. We can use this. See, while I was watching, my mother called me. So action is interrupted here. Next, while I was watching, my wife was cooking dinner. My wife was cooking the dinner. Yes, both are parallel actions, but there are little bit minor differences. Next, to describe what someone was doing at particular point of time. That is also can be explained by using past continuous tense. I was walking in the garden all the day yesterday. So here, to describe what someone was doing at particular point of time. See, all the day yesterday is particular point of time. What someone was doing at that time. That is what can be explained by past continuous tense to express interrupted actions in the past. See, while expressing interrupted actions, we use different tense combinations. When I was going to walk, I saw an accident. See here, longer action, which is longer action. When I was going to walk is longer action, which is shorter action. I saw an accident is shorter action. Here we can use past continuous tense for longer action. Next, for shorter actions, we can use simple past. There also, I watched Holy Spirit last night while I was sleeping. I was sleeping has begun earlier. It began earlier than watched Holy Spirit. So, which is longer action? I was sleeping is the longer action. Next, watched Holy Spirit is shorter action. So, shorter actions can be put it in simple present. Simple past. Longer actions can be put in past continuous tense. Next, to describe repetition and irritation. Sometimes we can explain irritation and repetition with help of past continuous tense. I was always complaining in the class. This is the one. This is a kind of no repetition. Next, past perfect tense. Past perfect tense is used to talk about actions that were completed before another point in the past. Few actions they were completed before another time in the past. Before another action or before another time in the past. See, to describe an action finished before another past action. I had gone out when my wife came to house. Here, which happened first? I had gone out happened earlier than my wife came to house. When I had gone out, it is the earlier action. Next, my wife came to home is later action. For earlier actions, we use past perfect tense. For later actions, we use simple past. Here, we use two tense combinations. One is past perfect, another one is simple past. Past perfect is useful to talk about earlier actions. Simple past is useful to talk about later actions. Next, second condition under past perfect to describe an action that happened before specific time in the past. They had been to movie before last night. See, there may be movie. There might be movie at 9 p.m. last night. These people had been to movie before 9 p.m. That means that they would have reached. They might have reached cinema hall by 8:55 itself. So to talk about actions which have been finished which been finished before specific time we can use past perfect tense. Next, to describe cause and effect, I got stuck in the traffic because there had been an accident. Here I got stuck is the result because there had been an accident. It becomes cause. I got stuck is the effect. There had been an accident is cause. Next, I was thin. I was thin is the effect because there had been food with low calories. It is the cause. Here, cause is put in. Cause can be kept with past perfect. Result or effect can be put in simple past. Next, to emphasize next point, next condition is to emphasize the result of activity in the past. I had been to Hyderabad twice by the time I got the job in Madrapalli. To emphasize result of activity. What we are emphasizing? Here we are emphasizing frequency. I had been to Hyderabad twice by the time I got the job. Here, by the time I got the job, you had been to Hyderabad twice. That is the meaning. To emphasize here, result is had been to Hyderabad twice. Had been to Hyderabad is the result, and also it comes under frequency also. Next subdivision of past tense is the past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect continuous tense. To describe past action that already started and continued up to another action or time in the past. See, The action happens in the past here. Action began in the past. Action to describe past action that already started continued up to another action or time. See, the boys had been playing cricket for about half an hour when it started to rain. See, when it started to rain is the another action. The boys had been playing is another action, which is the period of time for about an hour. The boys had been playing cricket for about an hour. This is the about an hour is period of time. The boys had been playing is it is past action which began earlier and continued up to another action. What is another action here? When it started to rain is another action. Here this action started in the past. The boys had been they started playing cricket in the past. Maybe yes, maybe they might have started playing cricket yesterday. The action continued up to evening of the same day. That evening, by the time of ending of match, it started to rain. When it started to rain, they those boys they played cricket up to up to rain beginning. See, when it started to rain, up to that point of time, the boys had been playing cricket. After rain, they stopped playing cricket. They left cricket and went to their homes. That is the meaning of this one. Next, to express cause and effect. Madhu needed a holiday because he had been working hard for 2 years. Here, cause and effect. Needed a holiday is effect. Had been working is cause. We keep to express a cause we use past perfect continuous tense. To tell effect we use a simple past. Here we use a simple past to talk about effect. We use a simple past to talk about effect. We use past perfect continuous tense to talk about cause, which is Madhu needed a holiday is effect. What is the cause here? He had been working hard for 2 years. Next condition to talk about cause of something in the past. He was tired because he had been working for longer. What is the cause here? Here to talk about cause mainly we use past perfect continuous tense. Next, future tense. Actions decided at the moment. I am unhealthy now. I will go to doctor. Yeah, these future actions, sometimes future actions, they will be decided at the time of speech. They are mainly linked up with the present tense only. These in future actions in most of the cases are similar to present actions. Future actions are continuations of present tense. Future actions are continuations of present tense. I'm unhealthy. I will go to doctor. To talk about immediate actions. To talk about immediate actions, we use simple future. Unplanned actions. Winter will come soon. So it is also unplanned action. Next, for offering, asking for request and promising, ordering, threatening, we can use simple future. I am afraid. It is a kind of fear. Fear. I am afraid we will get wet. I promise that I will help you. This one, promising. Next, I will kill you with it, threatening. Will you be bringing your friend tomorrow? It is request. So to talk about request, threatenings, offerings, we use simple future. Next, for unpreventable actions also, summer. We can't prevent summer. We can't prevent seasons except we humans cannot prevent any actions in this universe except God. God only prevent actions in the future. Unpreventable actions are summer will come soon, can't stop it. It comes and goes away. Next, another season begins. Next, with conditionals. When I reach home, I will call you. Here, which is the subordinate clause? When I reach home. When I reach home is the subordinate clause. I will call you is result. Here, it is condition. It is type 1 condition. Type 1 condition. Subordinate clause is in present tense. Main clause will be in future tense, simple future. Here, simple future is used in the combination of simple present tense in the subordinate clause. Next, for thoughts, predictions, assumptions, trueness, fears about future, all these are explained with simple future. I promise that I won't tell this anyone. Here, promise. I guess. Here, prediction. I assume. To talk about assumptions, predictions, promises, we use a simple future. Next, future continuous tense to describe interrupted actions in the future. When we come tomorrow, they will be playing cricket. They will be playing cricket. It is interrupted action. Next, to express actions in the progress at specific time in the future. Sometimes we use future continuous tense to talk about specific actions at a specific time. Example: at 12 o'clock tomorrow, we will be dancing at college. Yes, it is specific time, it is specific action. Next, to refer actions that are happening now expected to continue sometime in the future. Sometimes this future continuous tense is used to talk about actions which are happening now and they expected to continue in the near future also. Unfortunately, sea levels will still be rising in next 20 years. Sea levels now. Why sea levels rise? Because of melting of ice at Himalayas or somewhere else. At many glaciers, they melt, so sea levels rise because of many factors: global warming, greenhouse effect. Unfortunately, sea levels they are also rising now. Also, they are happening now. Also, they will be expected to continue in the near future. Also, let's to talk about polite questions. To talk about polite questions, when we keep will in the beginning of the word, it becomes question. Whenever we begin sentence with helping hope, it becomes question. Here also, will is the model here. Will is the model. Here, will you be bringing your friend to class? That is very polite question. When we begin any question with a will, it appears like a polite question. It is a polite. To emphasize future plans and intentions, my professor will be coming to visit us next week. Here, I'm emphasizing future plans. To talk about future plans and the intentions, we use future continuous tense. To describe atmosphere in the future, when I arrive at the party, everybody will be celebrating, some will be dancing, some will be talking. Yeah, we can guess now. To describe future atmosphere, we can use future continuous tense. Sometimes we use for parallel actions. To talk about parallel actions also, we can use future continuous tense. I will be watching TV and my wife will be cooking dinner. See, these both are happening at the same time, simultaneously. So we can use future continuous tense to talk about these simultaneous actions. So future perfect. It is used to talk about an action that will have been finished before certain time in the future. Here, there may be the few actions which will have been finished before another time or before another action. By the 12 o'clock tomorrow is time. I will have reached my home. See, I told you to talk about a few actions, they will have been finished earlier. See, I will have reached my home happens here, happens first. I will have reached my home by 8 o'clock. By 8 o'clock tomorrow, I will have reached my home. Maybe I will have reached my home at 7 o'clock also. So to tell kind of to talk about kind of situations, we use the future perfect. Yes, to talk about action that will be completed before another event takes place. As I told you, few actions will have been finished before another action. Few actions will have been finished before another time. Actions at time. Mahalakshmi will have learned Korean language before she moves to Korea. Which is earlier action? Will have learned Korean language is the earlier action. She moves to Korea is later action. To talk about earlier actions, we use future perfect continuous tense. Later actions we use simple present. Here, before she moves to Korea, she will have learned Korean language. This will have been finished earlier. Then she moves to Korea. This action happens another no. This action she moves to Korea happens later. First, which action happens? She will have learned. When she learns, she will go to Korea. Here, based on this rationale, which is the earlier action? Will have learned is the earlier action. She moves to Korea is later action. Next, to express something assumptions. The wife will have reached home by this time tomorrow. See, this is a kind of no. It whenever something happens exactly to say kind of actions, we use future perfect tense. Future perfect tense. Next, future perfect continuous tense. Here to talk about few actions, they begin in the future, they will continue up to some time in the future, and then they will be happening. Few actions, few actions, they begin earlier before the future, and then they will have been finished up to some extent. In the future also they will have been continued. Example, Madhu will have been teaching at the university for more than 5 years by the time he leaves Hyderabad. Before he leaves Hyderabad, he will have been teaching at the university for more than 5 years. See, Madhu will begin career in 2023. Sorry, Madhu will begin his career in 2024. He works for 5 years. That means 21, 29, 29 up to 29 he works here. That means 5 years. I told you, no? Up to 29 he works here, and then he leaves campus. To say kind of situations, we use future perfect continuous tense. To talk about something that finishes just before another time or another action in the future. I will be tired when I get home because I will have been working for over an hour. Here, see, to talk about action, which will have been finished just before another time or another action in the future. I will be tired when I get to home. See, which action happens earlier? I'll be tired is happens first. Next, which is another hand? I get to home. Before getting into home, I will be tired. So here to talk about to talk about something that is finished just before another time or another action. See, this action is finished earlier. Then get home. I'll be tired is finished earlier. Then I get to home because I will have been walking for over an hour. I hope you understood tenses. There are vivid examples for each condition under each tense. Everyone carefully observe examples. Any doubts and assumptions about any tense, please post your doubt in chat box. I'm ready to help you at any moment. Kindly post in chat box. Thank you. Happy learning.